What is up, Call of Duty fans? I'm Alan IHOLDSHIFT down at Frio. It's good to see you back, or welcome for the first time. And I want to start this video off a little bit differently. Yes, we will go through all of the different things that happened today, who staved off elimination, who made the auto qualifications, and who is going to have to fight through the grueling bracket tomorrow. But before I get there, I want to give just a brief shout out to everybody who's been working at MLG, at the main office, and of course with the CWL League Ops. Today was by far, I think, in all of my experience watching esports, one of my favorite moments of all time, bar none. I don't know if it was decided at the beginning of the day or if it was a spur of the moment decision to just flop back and forth between games, in between maps, but oh my goodness, with all the different storylines that were going on, that was by far one of my favorite events to watch. Period. It rivals that of Heroes of the Dorm, its first ever really big esports premiere on ESPN. It rivals the Boston Major when Cloud9 went through like 17 different double overtimes. It rivals the first international. It was absolutely so much fun to watch. Again, it was nice that the games mattered a lot and there were a lot riding on most of every single game that was played, but I just want to give a brief shout out to everybody who made that production happen today. Most notably, I know how tough it is as a commentator for those guys to sit up there, stand up there for that long and talk over so many games. So to all of the casters, big ups to you guys for bringing the energy all day long. Hope you guys drink some tea, some honey, get those voices rested, because we're up for another big day tomorrow and I cannot wait to watch it. So big praise. If you're in the comments section, you'd like to leave comments, let those guys know how awesome the production was, because it was absolutely insane. But I don't want to get too off track. We need to get into what happened today. So let's take a look at what the standings were for each pool coming in. Pool A saw Team Sween and Enigma 6 fighting for things, and there would be just the one elimination of Team Divine. Over in Pool B, things were looking good for Envy, but there was that perennial matchup, Stave to go against Heretics and G2, and on the bottom, there were those 1-5 record potential ties that we talked about yesterday that could happen to determine who was eliminated and who would make their way through. In Pool C, we had our only qualifier out of Pool C, and that was Midnight Esports at a 5-0 stat line. Absolutely insane to see those guys essentially coming out of nowhere and making a full-on run at Pool C. 100 Thieves, they survived yesterday. They would have to do some more work today to make sure that they got themselves in, and Mazer Gaming, they would unfortunately be eliminated after, of course, all that Supreme Agility drama. And then in Pool D, again, Nation of Power was our first technical elimination from the tournament. Mind Freak started to slip a little bit as far as their hold on what was going on in Pool D, leaving things open for just about anybody to take that pool. Of course, all of that drama we talked about. Here were the results as we moved through. Enigma 6 would be able to hold on for the 5-1. Reciprocity would do a job today, and they would secure the second spot. Project 18 would be the eliminated team to go with Team Divine. In Pool B, of course, Envy and the Heretics would move on. Vodafone Giants not quite able to make it work, and Lightning Pandas 0-6. Yikes, you hate to see that. Midnight Esports, 100 Thieves in Pool C. Yes, I did say it. You can go back and check it. 100 Thieves auto qualifies for the Pro League. I don't know either. Down at the bottom, though, Pittsburgh Knights would see their dreams fold apart very quickly as they would be eliminated alongside Mazer Gaming officially today. And then also in Pool D, the Evil Geniuses would have themselves a great day. They would be coupled up in the auto qualifier with UYU. The Imperial not quite able to make it work. But I want to talk about the pools a little bit more specifically because there is a lot to talk about. So let's jump over to Pool A in the first thing. Enigma, again, all they needed to do was win out. They did. Don't leave it up to chance. But here's the thing about Enigma 6. This team is not just good. This team is great. Frosty is an absolute monster. He switched over from Halo, got used to Call of Duty, which may have been some of the struggles that they were dealing with before, but he's no longer struggling, people. He very well could be what I would say maybe the MVP of the event so far from what I have been able to take away from the pools. And Kismet as well. He's been top 3 damage every single day in total damage dealt over the course of the individual days. So Enigma 6, 5-1, great. Reciprocity. They needed Sween to lose to secure a top 2 spot. That was pretty much one of the only ways that they could get the top 2. And, well, that would, in fact, obviously happen. On top of that, though, they would play up against Project 18, and that was probably one of the fastest games recorded in a CWL match set because it did not last long. It was a full-on stomp on the hard point. I think it was like a 6-1 or something like that on the Search and Destroy, and then an easy 3-0 on the Control. FaZe Clan. This was a lot of drama about FaZe Clan because they had a really rough start, only having beaten FaZe Clan Black, they needed to win both of their games, and they desperately needed Project 18 to lose the reciprocity. That would happen, but it wasn't without drama itself. There was a scary moment as they played up against Team Divine first, and they went down 0-2, and this would happen on the control to start the reverse sweep comeback.
6. Priest and Attach able to find a couple of kills now at 2 versus 4 for Attach and Zuma, the longtime duo. Can they clutch this round up?
Oh my God, what a clutch this would be. Maybe this would be a bit of momentum for them to get it going. Nice shots from Attach. He gets back to full health. It's gonna be all on him to make the play.
Oh,
it's on the back, and there's the melee from Attach. As he gets the clutch in round 1. Wow, is that needed?
They would get that reverse sweep, found that momentum. Everyone started to kind of warm up to it, and we started to build a little bit of confidence about what maybe FaZe can do. They would then play Sween, and goodness, the Crowder and Priesta switch up seems to be going just fine, as you see in these clips below. Crowder has been doing phenomenally with the Annihilator, and Priesta, my goodness. The clip doesn't really show it all that well, but he got like 6 kills straight, essentially solo spawn camping Sween on the control. Absolutely nutty, but it wasn't, again, without drama. This would go to map 5, and they would be able to close it out based off the newcomer, the young gun Celium. This was the call.
Here we go. He's gonna spot a 1, able to win it, has the Tempest, wins the second.
Oh my God,
Celium now at 2v2. I just wrapped through the middle of the map, Trying to buy some time, has a stun. Stuns out, he stuns 1, he finds a 3rd. 1 versus 2, Celium!
Oh my God!
All 4 for Celium!
What a play! Welcome to FaZe Clan!
And of course, with that finish, they would go from nearly eliminated to 3rd in the pool. Talk about your good old-fashioned switch-ups right there. But let's talk about Team Sween. They definitely controlled their own fate. Again, they were sitting at 3-1 coming in, but they would lose both of their games. They were both in close fashion, but losing them out, you hate to see it. And then FaZe Black, they had a chance, a very small one, to finish in the top 2 if the cards played right. They wouldn't today, but they would, of course, stay safe from eliminations. So let's go over to Pool B quickly. Again, Envy, this team has looked absolutely incredible. A couple of slow starts and scary moments, but this team would wake up. I'm thinking about that moment back when Heretics was up 2-0 on them and they would pull the reverse sweep. Nothing else would be super all that close. The match versus G2, I guess, was pretty close as well, but this is legit, I think, the best team here, just flat out. They're champions, they come in, they know how to handle business, and they absolutely did. This is definitely a team on land that I think can handle playing up against the top 4 teams that have already qualified without much of an issue. They could even possibly be one of the best teams in the CWL Pro League. Now, going to the Heretics, my goodness. The setup here was that Heretics would play G2, and it would be the whole battle for who gets qualified and who gets to go out of the playoff bracket, and we were not disappointed by the match. It would go a full 5, and this is exactly how that set would end.
Chino pops his Tempest, drone squad called on in. G2 trying to capture B, but Journey is there with an Annihilator.
And he actually picks up the Tempest player in Chino as well. Just whiffs on the edge, but the help comes through. There's back-to-back shots. Can't get the 3rd, but they're able to get tested. It's Lacefield with the grab slam and the 3rd kill on top. The 4th almost there, but Metal's able to take the gunfight. 35 seconds on the clock. It's a 2v3 for Heretics. Decimate gets in, but Decimate's gonna drop. The drone squad gets the final kill, and Blast! What a stretch from him.
Wow, we've seen it a couple of times from Hook. Tempest not gonna be able to connect.
He misses both. He misses all 3 shots.
And now,
what are those shots? As Methods gets obliterated off statue.
Jack grab slam as well. 30 seconds. There is one player in the fence. Lucky finds Chino. 3v2. Layfield, he is taken down. 1v3 for Blast.
Can Blast do it? Can he hold on?
Oh, the stun!
He's in the vents. The stun
there we
comes
go!
in. The grab slam through. And Heretics in the Pro League. Vamos!
And I want to leave just kind of a little bit of a tidbit here, as, you know, I speak a little bit of Spanish, not much, but I wanted to leave just a small message for the Spanish community, which all of you have been coming out in force. Para toda la comunidad española, quiero decirles lo emocionada que estoy con los Heretics y lo feliz que estoy que una gran parte de la comunidad esté representada a más alto nivel. Un gran felicitación para los Heretics y sus fanáticos. No puedo esperar a verlos en la liga. Vamos, amigos. Goodness gracious. So happy for the Heretics. A huge congratulations to them. This has been long awaited, and they have definitely been putting in the work. You love to see it. And of course, G2 will be in the 3 spot. Let's not just take away from G2. And they look good, without a doubt. It just came down to the fact that they were not up to the level of the Heretics. Fact Revolution, out of all the teams that were not eliminated or already qualified, this was the only team that was completely safe, really, from elimination or qualifying. That was the only storyline where they had no chance of qualifying, no chance of being eliminated, but they would hang out today and just kind of let all the drama unfold around them. They would lose their set, but regardless, they will still be in the bracket. And then this was actually interesting here again in Pool B. This was a situation where it could have been a 3-way tie for 1 and 5, and it would have been coming down to map differential. Tainted Minds gave us some drama by taking it to 5 games, but they would beat the Lightning Pandas, who, again, weren't able to find a win at all, and they would finish 0-6. Vodafone Giants at 1 and 5, so Tainted Minds will be moving on. Going over to Pool C, Midnight Esports, again, that was one of our, well, our only qualified team after day 3. They would finish out completely safe, 6-0. They look absolutely nutty. I'm excited to see this squad as they get into the Pro League. And then 100 Thieves, the only way that they qualify after starting terribly to this season is if they would have beat Accelerate Gaming and if Pittsburgh would have lost one of their games. They absolutely handled Accelerate Gaming on the back end of Slasher, who was a maniac today. He was absolutely popping off, a lot of just solo carry moments, but Octane as well, definitely holding his own, and there were a couple of instances where everybody else had their moments, but Slasher in particular hard carried this team through all 3 of the maps that they played against Accelerate, and somehow they qualify. Do I think they're ready? No. Do they need to make some switch ups after Fort Worth or just before Fort Worth? Yes, they absolutely do. But we'll see what happens with that team as we go. How about overtime, though? The French Phenoms were safe if they could beat the Pittsburgh Knights. And they would do it on the back end of Whalers, who honestly, very quietly, I think is one of the best ARs that has been performing at the CWL Pro League qualifiers. This guy's been insane with the Annihilator. He's had great long-range, short-range battles with the ICR. He's definitely locking on a lot of the rotations and respawn for their team, and I really give credit to Whalers and the French community for, you know, obviously having representation here. I think this team should be in the Pro League, flat out. I think they're definitely good enough, but they're gonna have to go through the bracket and as the 3rd seed. Now, Spacely, they needed to win out for even a chance at the 3-3 tie scenario, and they showed up today. Nagafen had an absolutely nutty solo spree where he popped off at these close range battles, absolutely needed, and a lot of really great specialist usage to close out maps. Team Spacely definitely back in the conversation after a terrible start, but we'll talk more about who they're going to be going up against when we get there. Accelerate Gaming as well could have qualified for the Pro League with just a win against 100 Thieves, and now all of a sudden they're the 5th seed. You hate to see it. And then Pittsburgh, they could have qualified if they won out and Accelerate Gaming lost. Of course, Accelerate Gaming did lose, but Pittsburgh Knights didn't win a match. So, and they would have been safe if they would have won one match. You got to feel bad for Parasite. You know, he's been working hard, and honestly, I think he's probably a top 5 AR in the game. He put out a tweet saying that he might consider the option of giving up because he doesn't want to go through the amateur circuit. I'm kind of hoping that someone gives him a shot on a Pro League team once the roster swaps can come open. So we'll see what happens with the Pittsburgh Knights as we go through. And then we got to finish things off quickly because we still have to go through the bracket. Pool D. This was Evil Genius's pool, and they would be able to secure it 5-1 in total. They look good, too, to be honest. There was a couple of instances where things were looking a little bit odd. You know, things weren't quite clicking, but Facento's a good player. That's pretty much all I'll say. Facento's an incredible player. The magic number for all the top teams actually was 5, so Evil Geniuses would lock it in, and of course then we had a 3-way tie situation for UIU, Red Reserve, who won out, and Mindfreak, who could not win their game today, obviously, and it would go as you see it on the screen. UIU would qualify. Again, this was based off the head-to-head. They beat Red Reserve and Mindfreak, and then on the opposite side, it would just come down to map count between Red Reserve and Mindfreak, and you see how that goes there. Moviestar Riders somehow still safe, only thanks to the fact that Imperial lost today. So that's how things will go. And I want to take a look just at the bracket, what this looks like as we go in. Here are the PLQ qualifying brackets. Again, it is a double elimination style. You're going to be seeing this kind of moving forward throughout the entirety of the day. And I want to start off just, again, talking about Fact Revolution, Accelerate. Again, both of these teams looking pretty solid. This should be a pretty decent game. I mean, they're both sitting at 3-3. They've both shown moments where they can take down big dogs, but also some moments where they've struggled. But this will definitely be a very interesting match. The Moviestar Riders versus Sween, let's be honest, Moviestar Riders is not nearly at the same capabilities that Team Sween is at. This should be a pretty easy one. Winner goes in to meet against Overtime Esports. And honestly, you take a look at both of these teams kind of side by side, what their schedule looked like. You can see it in Moviestar specifically. They started off strong and then they didn't win a map. Yikes, in the last 3 days. So they did what they had to do to make it in, but it doesn't look nearly as good. And of course, for Team Sween, a heartbreaking loss to FaZe Clan, but regardless, they're still safe. They'll still end up a little bit further on in the winners bracket where a lot of us thought they probably would be as they moved. And then of course, as you switch down to the bottom side of the bracket, Mindfreak taking on FaZe Clan Black. How about this matchup? This one could be good as you look at Mindfreak. Again, started off really strong, but did not look super convincing against Red Reserve with that 1-3 loss. And then of course, the 2-3 scoreline against UYU. It was a close game, truth to be told, but it still just wouldn't go the way of Mindfreak. They definitely have some gaps. They're not looking as nearly as solid as they were before. So when you look at FaZe Clan Black, they had a nice strong finish to their tournament. Of course, you hate to see that 0-3 loss to FaZe at the beginning, but they did absolutely everything they had to do with the exception of kind of getting beat up by Enigma 6 earlier today. But this should be a good game. I'm really excited to see this one go. And then in the very bottom, you have Team Spacely taking on Tainted Minds, and you have to think kind of a similar storyline here as the one between Moviestar Riders and Team Sween. These teams are just in different tiers completely. Even though Spacely had a rough start to the tournament, having that loss versus Overtime and that unfortunate map 5 against 100 Thieves, they're able to do exactly what they needed to. They look like they're more on the same page. Tainted Minds, on the other hand, they barely escaped Lightning Pandas, who went 0-6. They beat the Giants, who aren't very good, and then they didn't really do anything else the rest of the tournament. So you have to think that this is going to be a pretty easy game in favor of the side of Team Spacely. So that's what we got. I hope that you guys enjoyed the breakdown. I kind of want to know what you guys think, though. Again, it is double elimination. So with the last 12 teams going to the playoff bracket, who are your top 4? I really want to know. Like, I actually want to start the conversation. And if you want to join in our conversation, we've had a couple people join my Discord, and we kind of just talk, you know, in chat or just in voice about the games as we watch them. So if you'd like to join us, I'll leave the link below as well. And then beyond that, I really enjoyed having you guys throughout this week. I'm excited for one more full day of Call of Duty action before we get to the Pro League. I've been Shift, you've been you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that sub button, ring the bell to make sure you get those notifications when these videos do come out and live. And until next time, hope that you keep holding it down. Later. Bye-bye.